Hey everyone, Junk Car Reaper here, and today we're going to dive into an in-depth look at vehicle lifespans in the U.S. based on our latest article that we just published, which is the state-by-state analysis of how long cars last in the USA. This article is packed with insights on car age and mileage across different states. So let's get into it. First up, we're going to see here, on average, cars in the U.S., vehicles, I should say, last about 17.1 years on average and rack up around 160,545 miles before they reach the end of their road. Now, how do we come up with these numbers? Well, we analyzed over 50,000 records from people who submitted their cars to be junked with us. Since we specialize in end-of-life vehicles, we think it's a pretty solid way to understand how long cars really last. Let's take a look at the map. We took this data and mapped it out on a map across the USA. And what you'll see here is some fascinating patterns. For example, cars in the Pacific Northwest region, they like Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, tend to stay on the road the longest. But they also tend to accumulate less mileage. When we click over here and see, the mileage is a lot lower. So this might mean that people in those states just don't drive as much. On the other hand, in the Great Lakes region, and even in Louisiana down here, you're going to see cars tend to age pretty fast, averaging about 15 to 16 years, much quicker than the national average. This is probably likely due to weather conditions, road salt, especially in the Northeast, which can really wear a vehicle down. Now, let's break down some states that hold on to their cars the longest and which ones drive them the farthest. So you're going to see here Idaho, Montana, Wyoming have some of the oldest vehicles with an impressive age of nearly 20 years. When it comes to mileage, though, the Midwest takes the lead. Minnesota, for example, has cars that average over 176,000 miles before they're retired, well ahead of not just the average, but all the other states across the board. There's some key findings that stood out as well. First, the northwestern states keep their vehicles on the road longer, as we already mentioned. They top the list in the average age. States in the Midwest accumulate the highest mileage, like we mentioned already, with Minnesota leading the way. And then the coastal states generally show lower vehicle age due to environmental factors, most likely, as well as salt exposure that can age faster. So the salt, we're not just talking about the salt on the roads from winter months in the Northeast, but on the coastal areas, the salt from that gets on the roads from the ocean as well. And now let's take a look at the full table where you can see some detailed state by state average data, mileage, model year, and more. It's a great snapshot of how vehicle lifespan across the country. So here you have a comprehensive look at how long cars last across the US. If you want to dive deeper or see how your state compares, check out the full article on our website, jumpcarreaper.com. Thanks for watching and let me know how old is your car and how many miles does it have? I'd love to hear in the comments.